Hi, and welcome to the Long Range Shooting and Custom Rifle Building podcast presented by Wolf Precision Incorporated, where we learn about and share long range shooting and custom rifle building. I am your host, Jamie Dodson, and welcome to the show. Hi, and welcome to episode 239 of Wolf Precision's Long Range Shooting and Custom Rifle Building podcast. I'm your host, Jamie Dodson, and welcome to the show. In this episode, we're going to dive into an assembled rifle build kit or a prosumer gunsmithing kit. And really excited to announce a lot of big things getting ready to kick off here at Wolf Precision and in training the next generation of gunsmiths and prosumer gunsmiths and people who would like to learn the art of building a custom rifle. It all starts here. So without further ado, here we go. Before we get started, I want to say a quick thank you to a couple of our sponsors, MDT, maker of fantastic chassis from the unsung hero, which I call the Oryx. It is a $439 chassis that I think rivals anything on the market sub $1,000. And then you've got the Premier, the ACC Elite, the J. Allen, lots of great choices to choose from, different HNT 26 for hunting. So if you want to upgrade your rifle and you like to do it with a chassis, you have a great selection from a great company. You can see all that at mdttac.com. That's mdttac.com today. We'd also like to thank TriggerTech. TriggerTech is the maker of excellent rifle triggers. They are one of our favorites here to recommend to all of our customers. They are one of the easiest to install, one of the easiest to adjust, and in my opinion, one of the safest triggers on the market. So if you would like to upgrade your rifle and you would like to do it with a trigger, you can stop over to triggertech.com. That's triggertech.com today. So 7 years working on the ACE system and all of the processes that are involved in making all the parts and pieces, as well as really reimagining and redesigning all the tools and fixtures required to use a system like the ACE. And we're here. We are July 1st, getting ready to set up for what will be our final solution to how we're going to operate our business here. And really what our long-term goal has been and always will be is trying to turn the keys as well as the art and the craft of learning to build and maintain a custom rifle over to the customers. And it starts with not just the high quality tools and the ability to make a fantastic rifle from components, but then giving, especially the newer shooters and newer builders out there, the opportunity for someone to help get in between them and all the parts and pieces that they're going to have to order, give them a helping hand, and in some cases even do an assembly of the kit on behalf of the customer and shipping it out, letting them install the trigger. And then for those that would love to learn, offering our Prosumer Gunsmithing School that has just been launched. The page is live. The first content will be going up next week with the actual full production really kicking off full swing outside of a couple introductory and safety videos August 1st. So what is a prosumer gunsmith and the differences in how we approach the marketplace? So the market is flooded on both ends of the spectrum, from really high-end custom rifles, quote unquote, that really, in my mind, might fall a little short of what I would consider a custom rifle build from, let's just say, a masterclass gunsmith who's going to assemble things from parts and pieces, but really just a better marketed factory rifle that's not very inefficient on how they make them and maybe even overpriced because of the branding. Now, that's part of a business model, and you can't really fault people for doing that. And then you've got the other end of the spectrum, which is someone that just wants to run a small lathe or mill and pound out pre-fit barrels, put them on the market, let people put them on the receivers, check them with go and no-go gauges, make sure everything's fit properly, and then wish them the best of luck, right? But there isn't an in-between. And what I mean by that is, how can we build a rifle better than something like what I would consider a Gunworks rifle, which I believe all of our systems are just light years ahead in everything from innovation to the potential accuracy of it. But how do we get the customer that would like to learn the art of it and be able to build a rifle better than they can buy? And you think about all the different brands of stuff that are out there and not be a quote unquote, oh, here you go, we're just banging out pre-fit barrels, because that doesn't work. The model of pre-fit barrels is really just trying to make the chambering of a rifle a commodity. And anytime you make that a commodity, it's a race to the bottom. It's who can do it the fastest, who can do it the cheapest. It's just not something that I would consider to be, and it does work. You can really get some good quality barrels, and you might get some great shooters in there, but you do have the potential to have some less than perfect, or maybe something that's not living up to the hype of what you wanted it to be, right? But the in-between, the quality of the very best rifle and the training to not just get thrown to the wolves and say, here's your pre-fit barrel, good luck, buy your tools and figure it out. And how we're really mitigating all of that and the potential problems that happen when you are working with just an action and a pre-fit is there's a lot of other parts and pieces that have to play well together. And there's a lot of issues when these different parts and pieces come together, how they fit, if they're made properly, if they have any defects, there's just a lot to it. And for new shooters, it's mind-boggling. I mean, we deal with it here on a daily basis. The internet is awesome, and it's horrifying at the same time as to all the different opinions people will read, all the different problems that they'll... Just give you an example. If you come up with some type of ailment, like I have this ailment, and you keep researching it 3 or 4 times down that rabbit hole, eventually you wind up with everybody has cancer. I mean, that's the same thing happens with shooting. You go down these rabbit holes all over the place, and they go so deep and out of control that it's not really what your signs and symptoms say you have, and it's probably not what you think it is, right? And you just don't have the wherewithal or the knowledge to go through and figure out what's total BS and what is really working for you. So there's 3 things that we had to address to make sure that this system not just worked, but worked perfectly. The first way is to offer our rifles not as a kit, quote unquote, as we're here, we're just going to sell it to you as a package and you put it together, but it's still a custom rifle. And what we're going to do is order all the parts and pieces on behalf of the customer. And I think for 80% of the people out there that are potentially considering building a rifle or would like to build a rifle, the first part is just the mass confusion of all the components that are out there, and even what to select. By offering our services as saying, yes, we're going to sell this in components to you, but call us, let us go over everything, go over all of your questions, go over all of your wants and needs, and let's navigate down this path of all of these parts and pieces to make sure that they're going to play well together, to make sure that they're going to fit properly, and to even go one step further, when they get here, make sure they're correct. For 80% of the people out there, the anxiety, the knot in their stomach, the nauseousness that they get when they start going down those rabbit holes, am I going to get it right? Is it going to perform? Is everything going to work well? There's just that worry of the unknown gone. We are that step in between to make sure that all these parts and pieces are not only going to work, not only going to be correct for what you're looking to do, but we will inspect each and every part as they come in here, and then they will be shipped out for you to do the final assembly. Now, for those that would like a custom rifle, those that would like a Wolf Precision custom rifle, how do we deal with that? Well, we will offer to do the assembly minus the trigger. So we'll do the full build, just like we were building a custom rifle. We'll assemble all the parts and pieces, and you simply have to put 2 trigger pins in and install your trigger, which there's videos going to be posted up on our Prosumer Gunsmithing page on how to do that. But for those that would like to learn, there's going to be the online course, which we consider our Prosumer Gunsmithing School. And then there's going to be our Rifle Readiness Clinic, in which you can come in, spend a half a day going over your new rifle here with us, and then we're going to take it to the range and zero it and fit it and all the things. So you get your new rifle, you get it all put together, get you on the books, and have you come in and spend a day with us here at our Rifle Readiness Clinic. And then those that really get the bug, those who would like to potentially become a future partner of Wolf Precision, we're going to offer our masterclass, in which we're thinking around 4.5 days to get you through the processes and make sure and evaluate and go over everything that we would do if you were going to retail these parts and pieces to customers as someone that's representing Wolf Precision and themselves to their customers. The Prosumer Gunsmithing School This is really where the rubber meets the road. I've said this with the online long range shooting school that it has been wildly successful as far as people attending the class and what they're able to get from it, and the ability for them to grow as a shooter without coming in. Now, don't get me wrong, the in-person long-range shooting school is one of my favorite things in the world to teach. We actually have a class starting off this Friday, so I'm super excited for everybody that's going to be here. But COVID has taught us that remote learning and remote training, knowledge is key. Knowing is key. Knowing what you don't know is key. Just getting the knowledge to the customer in a format that they can consume and in a format that they can follow, a lot of times is several steps in the right direction into getting them started in learning the art of long-range shooting. And the same thing can be had for a prosumer gunsmithing school. So starting August 1st, we'll really start getting after the prosumer gunsmithing school. It is going to start with a lot of course, safety. It's going to start into a lot of the precautions. It's going to start into, we're going to be instructing and teaching how to build and maintain firearms. It is ACE specific, so we're going to teach you how to build all of these rifles using our ACE system. However, though, the knowledge really would apply to about every other rifle that's being built out there, including a lot of your pre-fit stuff. Now, I'm not saying take our school and you can go out and buy all these parts and pieces on the open internet and buy pre-fits, and it's not designed to teach you that. We're teaching you our system. But the knowledge and things that we're going to share, the things to watch out for, the tricks, all these things that we sort of throw out there that, hey, watch for this, watch for this, watch for this. It's still a full-on gunsmithing school outside of the machining, and you're going to learn a lot from it. And hopefully be able to watch for and solve potential little problems that do pop up that we see here. Once every year, we might see this particular problem. Once every year, we might see this other particular problem with a product usually, and a third-party product at that just causes us an issue that we have to adjust, we have to correct, or we have to have some type of procedure in place to get around it. Or if it's bad enough, recognize it and send it back before we even start and get into building the rifle. So the Prosumer Gunsmithing School is going to tie directly into and be part of our Wolfpack, which is our online reloading class, which we just posted up a new video about 2 days ago. We'll be posting up another video next week. We're actually making ammo, and then we're going to start testing it. And then our online long-range shooting school. Those are the three hearts of everything that we do here. And that if you're going to get into long-range shooting, whether it's hunting or match shooting or competition or PRS or NRL or whatever you're into, really try to give you some tools to help step up your game, enjoy it more, learn more, be able to hit a little bit better, all of those really cool things. But the Prosumer Gunsmithing School is the educational part. And without the educational part, it's sort of like buying boxed furniture, hoping that the instructions are inside, that when you put it together, the dang thing's going to work, right? These are firearms. These are working firearms. You can't do that. You have to go through the processes for those that may have never touched one before, or those that would like to learn, but give them the tools they feel comfortable going in and maneuvering around all these things that they're going to have to do to take care of the rifle properly. Even how to change the caliber. There's power and knowledge, and there's freedom in it as well. And I think even at that, there's a boost in your step when you say you built it yourself. I like it when you go to a match, or you place in a match, you're winning a match, or you get in that position. You get questions. You'll get asked questions all the time. But what are the most common questions that you'll get asked? Is one, I think it's almost goes against a shooter, like a slide towards them, but you decimate a match and you do really well, and the first thing someone's going to ask you is, who built your rifle? Forget the fact that you just shot your butt off and you kicked butt all over the place. No, that wasn't the key. It must be the rifle. And so how cool would it be when somebody throws that sort of rock in the bottom of your boat that you throw it back out and say, I did, right? Not only did you win the match, but you won it with something that you built with your own two hands. That to me is awesome. And giving the people the tools to be able to do that. Now, it is self-serving. When we're working on this concept and we're working, my original goal with everything that we've done up to this point was being able to bring, a better quality rifle to the masses at a price that people could actually afford, right? Be able to hand somebody a piece of art that normally would be out of their reach, and let them experience what it's like to shoot a high quality rifle. Let them experience what it's like to hit a baseball at 1,000 yards 2 or 3 times in a row. Let them experience shooting groups and be like, oh my God, I actually don't suck. And I've said this a million times, there are more people to pull up to a better rifle than pull down from those that rank themselves as premier. I've never really wanted to try to rank ourselves or report ourselves or try to position ourselves to pull away from the top 2 or 3 branded brands. And the reason being is that market is so small, they can't keep it. I mean, it's awesome for someone to be able to go out and buy $12,000 or $14,000 rifle, but more than 60-70% of that, in my mind, is just marketing. And if we can bring some of those people to our doorstep and teach them our system with the ACE and teach them how to build and be sort of self-reliant in building and maintaining their own rifles. Oh, don't get me wrong. We would love to welcome you to Wolf Precision and make you part of our team here. We want nothing more than that. But that said, though, I don't want to get in that ring and fight that battle. It's just there's not a big enough prize at the end. For me, I grew up. My first car was $600. When I was 18, 19 years old, I slept above the steering wheel of an RV because I had nowhere else to go. I worked 2 jobs. I was in the military. I'm not poor mouthing, but dude, and I worked hard. I mean, back then it was hard to get a job. You're making $3, $4, $5 an hour. You know, it was tough. And so I remember my uncle said, hey, you need a place to stay. I have this RV out. It's sort of like a little trailer park, but a little RV/trailer park, right? And he goes, I'm not using it. If you want to rent it and stay there for a couple months through the summer, you're more than welcome to. And I was like, yeah, I mean, the price was great. I mean, I could afford it. And I was like, oh my gosh, the hot water tank in this thing had just enough hot water for you to rinse off and soap up. And if you weren't getting the soap off as fast as you put it on, get ready for a 58-degree rinse. And trust me when I tell you, I used to think the military taught me how to take a really quick and good shower. Man alive, nothing to it. In and out, 3 minutes flat, clean as a whistle. And you were motivated. You were motivated. Those people that say that, hey, there's health benefits to taking a cold shower. Yeah, not when it's involuntary. That's all I got to say, right? So when I look at stuff like this, my first several big rifles were Savages. My first real rifle when I was much, much younger, local gunsmith that worked at a little shop, no longer exists. Of course, he was doing some Mauser work and built a 6.5x55 Swede for me. I paid $350 for it on layaway. I'm not against anything high quality. I'm not against anything high branded, but I'm also, I know what it's like to go to a match with a $600 Savage and a $800 scope and feel out of place because everybody there is a sponsored shooter with $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 race rigs, right? I know what that feels like. You feel like, why am I here? Why am I even competing? Because there's no way I can't throw money at this and win. Same way with bench rest. Bench rest shooters, don't get me started on this one. Talk about people really getting super snobby, right? Not all bench rest shooters, but a lot of them, man, it is a money game. It is a $2,300 front rest. If you're not playing with these tools, you're in trouble because they can outspend you. And, yes, you still have to have skill. Yes, you've got to practice. Yes, but for those that are working class or those that, have young families at home, it's not obtainable. I mean, it's something to work towards for sure. But, dude, I know what that's like. And so for me, being able to produce a rifle that's better than that $14,000 race rig, that a guy working, 40 hours a week at one job and 2 or 3 nights moonlighting another job just to pay for a shooting habit and take care of his family, I want him to buy a rifle. And I want him to open up the case and beat on his chest with some pride and know that he's not going in undergunned because he couldn't afford what everybody else can braggingly pay for. He can afford a rifle that works and that will outshoot anybody else on the firing line if he does his job. And he can do it without breaking the bank, and he can show up unashamed, ready to go, and be proud of what he has. And enjoy the match, right? Enjoy the match. And that's what we're trying to do. The Prosumer Gunsmithing School is really a way for us to focus on teaching at once all of the online content. So it's going to take me about 6 months to produce all the videos that we're going to eventually do. And we'll dive into that in the next podcast a little bit more in some detail. But that said, as we keep moving forward, I don't have to teach the same subject over and over again. So in other words, I don't want 6 or 8 people sitting here and me teaching 6 people at a time. I wouldn't be able to teach enough people in a year to make a difference. I want to be able to put the content out there, let people enjoy the classes, and focus on growing this business. Focus on bringing the ACE into full manufacturer mode. Focus on having a system where we have a 2 or 3 day turnaround time on barrels. That's what we're focused on. And the only way we can do that is if we turn the keys to building the rifles over to the customers, or at least finishing them. And I think it makes it a win-win. We teach the customers a skill. They learn how to take care of their equipment properly. They're going to learn how to shoot it, because part of the Prosumer Gunsmithing School, the online reloading class, and the online long-range shooting school is at no extra charge. It's part of the Wolf Pack. The Wolf Pack is $49 a month. You can sign in for 3 months and unsubscribe. You don't have to stay in there. You can come up to speed, up to date, sign back out, and when new stuff gets posted back up that you're interested in, sign back up again. But it's a very small, what we would consider affordable fee for a couple $100. You can sign up for 4 months and go through the entire class and do it from the convenience and comfort of your own home. But then we can teach you to build and maintain a rifle. We can give you all the tools to go out and not only build it, maintain it, reload for it, and actually shoot it all in one place. That's really cool. And then that allows us to do the one thing that I love to do. I love to invent. I'm a tinker. I'm a designer. I'm a builder. I'm a thinker. I'm the guy that's sitting there looking at something thinking this can be done better. And there's a reason why. We can improve something here that makes a difference. And that frees me up to do these things. And it frees me up to really get our system super efficient and still hold the world-class accuracy that we're known for. So if you get a chance, you can pop over. You'll see our website. And I tried to post a little video up sort of explaining the assembled rifle kit and the Prosumer Gunsmith kit. And trying to explain the difference between the two online, we posted a little YouTube video. Of course, we have to be super careful with YouTube on anything we say or do there. But I tried to post up a video. You'll see it on our long-range rifles page. You'll see it on our hunting rifles page. But I want you to see the difference in the price, too. When you look at these, both are going to be all the parts and pieces ordered as if you're buying a custom rifle from us. We're going to order all these parts and pieces on behalf of the customer. We're going to inspect them all and make sure that they're proper before they go out to you to do the final assembly. And that way you know you've got all the right parts, all the right pieces the first time. A lot of times when people are doing this, they make mistakes to buy the wrong part. They buy the wrong bottom metal. They buy the wrong inletted stock. I mean, that happens. And when you do that, if that company won't stand behind it and send it, let you send it back and replace it out, you're losing money. And you're buying something 2 and 3 times to try to get it right. Not only that, but you're wasting all that valuable time while your rifle's down, while you're waiting for these parts, which is one of the reasons these kits exist. Now, we do get this question asked, and I'll try to be brief with this. Do we offer barreled actions? And the answer is we do. And we allow people to purchase the barreled actions. We do tell people, though, they are 100% responsible for it from there on out. The stocks that they buy, used, new, the Prosumer Gunsmithing page will be there to deal with a lot of the little things they're going to run into if they have a problem with their stock or they have a problem with inletting, stuff like that. But we are not going to be responsible for third-party product customer service. So if you have a problem with brand X stock and it's not fitting properly and the action screws are too short, too long, if you're buying a barreled action, you're accepting that these are going to be your responsibilities and that you have the wherewithal and the knowledge to figure it out. We actually field 1 or 2 calls a week of customers calling after they've replaced parts with parts B or part C, and something's not fitting right. And and in some cases, the company that sold them the part won't even call them back on how to fix it. And I try to take time out of my day to help where I can, but we've gotten and have grown to the point that I can't be every manufacturer's customer service rep solving their problems. And we want the customer to know that as much as we would like to help everybody out there with everything they ever run into, with the barreled actions, you're buying it at a discount. You're not paying for the assembly part of it. I can't be that individual to spend an hour or 2 on the phone trying to evaluate over the phone, which is really hard to do, what potentially is going wrong with that fitment of that stock or that scope or whatever you're trying to solve. So the Prosumer Gunsmithing School, that's there, and there's going to be a million answers in there to a lot of the common things that you'll see, but we want to address that out of the gate, that the barreled actions can be sent out assembled or just as an action in a pre-fit barrel. But we're also reminding the customer that they're accepting a responsibility to be able to properly fit it from there and that they have the knowledge to complete it without us having to walk through all the other components they're going to have to install or work with or modify or adjust. So before we continue on, I just want to say thank you to our last sponsor. Krieger Barrels, a maker of fine cut rifle barrels. They're a family-owned and operated business. In my mind, they're one of the best barrel makers here in the United States. They are legendary in the industry. A lot of people have copied them. A lot of people have tried to duplicate what they do, including even former employees that have left and gone and started their own companies in different ways, shapes, and forms. But there is only one John Krieger, and there's only one Krieger Barrels, and they have been doing a fantastic job for us for more than 20 years. They offer a new program called KriegerDirect.com, where they offer a new program called Krieger Direct, where you can log in and watch for barrels that they regularly post online for sale. They often do overruns, that way they can actually have some barrels in stock readily that you can get within 1 to 2 business days. So if you want to upgrade your rifle with a high-quality barrel, we really recommend Krieger, and you can learn more about them at KriegerBarrels.com. That's KriegerBarrels.com. All right, thank you, everybody, for taking the time to join us. Really looking forward to having everybody here popping over and seeing our Prosumer Gunsmithing page on the website. It's live. There's nothing posted on it yet. There'll be an intro and some safety videos being posted up over the next couple of weeks, but we expect really getting after the meats and potatoes of it after August 1st. And then if you want to learn more and you want to sign up, of course, you can sign up through Patreon. All of our online tutorials and all of our online training is held through Patreon. Patreon does a great job at making sure that everybody is over the age of 18. They handle all of that work on that end to not just safeguard us from people who shouldn't be on there, but handling all the details and making all the videos live and who can watch what. Now, when you do sign up for Patreon and become a member of the Wolf Pack, the best way to attend any of our classes, whether it's the online long-range shooting school or the Prosumer Gunsmithing school or the reloading class, is once you're registered through Patreon, go to our website, go to our page that you're taking the class with. So the online long-range shooting school will be an example, and then click on the videos in order that you want to watch them. On our website, they are in absolute order which you should watch them. On Patreon, because of how Patreon works, they post the latest video first, so they're actually backwards. So once you get into attending the class, and if you would like to attend the class, just know to, once you're registered and signed up for the Patreon membership to be able to get access to all the videos, watch the videos from our website. It's wolfprecision.net, and every time you click on it, you'll see it'll launch it in Patreon, and you can actually watch that video, and that way you can keep them in the correct order. Anyway, thank you, everybody, for taking the time to join us. Really appreciate it. We've got some interesting podcasts coming up as we get into the Prosumer Gunsmithing School. We're going to talk about some of the subjects we're going to be diving into here, and then we're going to dive back into evaluating a lot of things that can go wrong with the factory rifle that we did on the previous podcast. So thank you, everybody, for taking the time to join us. My name is Jamie Dodson. I'm your host, and you're listening to Wolf Precision's Long Range Shooting and Custom Rifle Building Podcast.